So Meta's made a lot of changes, and I think one of the biggest ones is basically leaning very heavily into Advantage Plus. They're really wanting to consolidate their targeting and have everything down to essentially one ad set, and to make purchase campaigns as simple as possible for e-commerce. If you're running leads, you're only running really open targeting, and they're retargeting within that audience. So TLDR, basically the essence of that is that there's a lot of consolidation happening with Meta, and they're basically trying to automate these processes as much as they possibly can. This will benefit smaller businesses a lot, but the thing is there's still a bunch of different things that are popping up, such as attribution, campaign optimizations, and goals. So everything they're taking away, they're also adding in some different levels of controls. The good thing is these new controls that they're adding in, like value rules, AEB, and some different targeting options, are more executive. They're higher level targeting type options, which is pretty good, because it gives you a more campaign level view of everything, and your controls are at a higher level in your campaign. So moving on to number one. So our first tip for 2025, start with your core objective, then work outward. So what this means is that if your ultimate goal for your brand is purchases or ROAS, you're ultimately looking to get the maximum return you can on your ad spend. Start there and then work outwards to what contributes to that MVA. And MVA is the most valuable action. So what's contributing to those goals, and what are the other MVAs around that goal that can help get you there? So in the standard realm of advertising, you have this funnel that you make: awareness, consideration, and conversion. And you start with this high funnel objective that maybe might be reach or video views, to mid funnel, which is just traffic, and then to lower funnel, which would then be where your purchase campaigns come in. And historically, this approach has always been top down. Well, where things seem to be going now is bottom up. So starting with that core conversion objective that you have, and then working up from there. So all this means is that you want to think in terms of engagement now, rather than just brand awareness. If you're a bigger brand, share of voice and awareness they're things that you want to worry about. But for smaller businesses, you want to be very goal oriented and conversion focused with your dollars that you are spending. You don't want to be wasting money. So this is where we're going to start, is bottom up. So basically, you're starting with your purchase campaign. What this looks like if you're e-commerce, or you could also replace this with leads if you're a lead gen, or looking for lead gen. You would start with your purchase campaign. You would start with your core objective first, and then you build out everything around this. So then you build out your mid funnel and upper funnel from there. So in these terms now, mid funnel and upper funnel would mean other MVAs that you have for your business, and incorporating that into campaigns. So this might be newsletter signups for e-commerce, welcome offer claims, engaged sessions on your website. So not just people landing on your page, but actually becoming an engaged session and checking out multiple pages, having paid scroll depth, or clicking a call to action. That's a very low barrier call to action on your site. And then the next question is, what will drive these outcomes? An example of this at the campaign level, the structure of these campaigns might look something like this. This is just a very high level example. You might have one campaign that's driving traffic to your site. That's your engaged sessions objective. You might not necessarily be running just traffic for that. You might be running something like a page scroll, or more of a conversion event that's driving engaged traffic. But it really depends on how your site is set up and the objectives around your business and what you're going for. A lot of brands have session objectives as well. So this will all factor into it. And then the next campaign would look something like welcome offer claims. So people actually claiming the welcome offer that you have for your business. You might be bidding to leads here for newsletter signups. And then your lastly would be your sales campaign, your purchase objective. So I just gave the rough CPMs here. This is going to vary very widely, but I just gave these CPM examples here as just some context for how you can maybe adjust this allocation to what your goals are for your business. So one of the ways that we can be allocating our ad spend is by roughly balancing impressions. What that means is basically just trying to get a roughly the same amount of impressions for each campaign that you're running. And this is just one method. There's plenty of other methods out there. There's methods that are based on mixed media modeling as you get to higher levels of business. There's a bunch of different methods for calculating your budget allocation, but just one that I use is what I kind of call balancing your impressions. So at each level, you're trying to get similar levels of impressions and reach, and then just calculating that cost against your CPM. So here we would just start with our purchase objective. We know that we want to spend a majority at this lower funnel objective. Maybe the brand has some data to work with here. So we allocate around 70% here, and that is our starting point. So from here, from that 70% at that $18 CPM, we work upwards and calculate what would give us around the same amount of impressions for the other two objectives in the campaign. So that's just one way to do it. I'm not going to spend too much time going over that. But that's one of the ways you could calculate it, especially as a smaller business and who's very focused on generating ROAS or conversions. And you can adjust that as you go, as you need, but that's just one way. All right, next are these key account settings. So Meta obviously has introduced a lot of updates to their ad account settings, to their campaign levels, ad set levels, ad levels, everything. And there's a lot of different settings now that you can access and utilize, and it seems like they make a new one every week. So there might even be some new ones on here that you haven't seen yet. But just to name a few of the key ones, and to go down the line, you want to check off, like uncheck, test new creative enhancements. We don't really want this because this is just essentially Meta. Anything that they want to test of their AI optimizations or their AI creative optimizations, they could basically just test it at their will, and they'll dedicate up to 5% of your impressions to these new tests. So this is giving all your control to Meta to test whatever they want. They're not the optimizations that are at the ad level in your ad account. These are completely different ones that they're testing. You could click in and see exactly which ones they're testing right now. Some of them look interesting, but right now you don't really want to be involved in tests. 5%, that's budget you're giving up to them testing whatever they want to test. The next one is testing new AI generation features. In ad account settings, we want to turn this off or make sure there's 0 running right now. They just generally are unproven right now. But again, look through it and see what makes sense for your business. But generally, we are choosing none here for right now. I think your business might have specific use cases, and if that's the case, then go ahead, use it. But for now, we would want all of them off. Next one is audience segments. So you want to indicate what your engaged and existing customer segments are. This will help with your ad set level reporting in your campaign. Ad set level and campaign level, but this will help with the campaign breakdowns for your lower funnel campaign. So for the purchase objective. So you could now see purchases that you're driving based on new customers, existing customers, and engaged customers who are falling under engage. You might be doing something like an engaged page view or someone who is coming from that newsletter sign up. You can get pretty creative here, but it comes down to how you want to view it for your reporting. All right, next one. This is a rather new one that Meta seems to have introduced, but it's industry. You can indicate your industry of your business at the ad account level or the ad account settings level. This will help them, I would guess, be serving impressions and recommending enhancements for your ads, but mainly this would probably be for the impression distribution that I would say to make sure that you're indicating your industry for your business. This next one is really good. Combine likes and reactions for similar ads. So if you're building out ads you're just uploading a video and into multiple ads that are within one ad set or campaign, this will combine those and combine all the engagement that it's getting into one. There's so much research on social proof in your ads and how it helps contribute to ROAS, contribute to purchase volume, everything. It basically, there's no bad that social proof can do. So the fact that they are combining it now for similar ads or the same video that's across multiple ad sets is amazing. This means that you're not paying for fragmented social engagement anymore. You are now able to combine them, which is great. So definitely make sure that this is checked on in your ad account settings. Generating page views and it might not be getting tracked in your ads manager, try adding your domain to an allow list. This might be the fix for that. This has helped a few different times when I've used different services for landing page builds or lead form signups. Adding that domain or the subdomain as a domain on your allow list has solved the problem. But if you make an allow list, you need to add all of your domains that are allowed on that allow list. So check that out. And if you do run into those issues, that might be the solve that you would need to do. And at the campaign level, Meta recently introduced one-day engaged view, which is basically just looking at who's actually engaging with your video, either watching it from a through play level, so 15 seconds or more. And then if they're going on to convert, in the past it was only view, which was they're just viewing your ad and then converting. It just didn't really have a way to indicate if they were engaged with that video itself or if they were just being served simply an impression and then going on to convert later. So this helps you see the impact. And then another one is partner integrations. So recently they announced an integration with GA4. So highly recommend integrating this with your GA4. It just will give Meta more data to look at. And just the more you can connect multiple platforms to one another, the better. So highly recommend going through and doing the GA4 integration. Moving on, offer and creative. In 2025 and in 2026, your offer and your creative are going to matter even more, especially your offer. You need to, one, get your offer down and have a really clear, concise, and compelling offer. Make it so good that people feel stupid saying no to it. This does not mean that you have to throw some absurd guarantee out, but be creative. Be creative, be compelling, and give people something that they actually want that's valuable in return for them taking action on your ad. And then from there is creative. So we'll get into formats in a second, but testing different formats, different angles in your creative. Start by trying to find one concept that really, really works, and then expand out from there. Expand the formats, expand different partners like influencers or UGC, and then expand different angles of that creative that has been working. So put a lot of focus into finding a concept and then expand out the concept from there. Next is maximize lifetime value. So don't just aim to get a one-time purchase. This obviously depends on your business, your objectives, and how specifically customers interact with your business, what they could purchase down the line. But aim to maximize lifetime value. Especially with incremental attribution being introduced now, this is something that you can really start to target if you have higher spends to your campaigns. But either way, you want to be optimizing to whoever your highest lifetime value consumers are. So another thing that you want to look at from there is expanding just around your ads. So creating this 360-degree view around your ads of not just running a campaign in Meta to someone to purchase. It's now, what's your conversion rate optimization? How does your landing page look? What can you look for in Meta or within your ads to maybe indicate some things that you can optimize on your landing page or with your offer? But then also looking at the customer buy progression too. So are there products that they might be most likely to buy first? And then what would be the next order of operation for them? What would be the next thing that they're going to buy? And then down the line, how often do they need to buy that thing? And then what will they ultimately progress up to? So if you have a consumable, they're going to be wanting to buy that multiple times within the year potentially, or what's your life cycle of your customers is what you want to be asking. And what's the logical progression of products that they might buy from you? And what's the pricing on those products? Can you bundle them together? Can you make it a little bit lower of a barrier because on that first purchase, because you know that they're probably going to purchase more down the line? And that will affect your ad costs as well. But just thinking of it in terms of what's the buy progression for your customer and where can you afford to maybe make things lower barrier, or if that is even the consumer that you're going after. But take all this into consideration. And then additionally, create email and SMS flows. You probably already have them, but look to optimize this as well, because this will help your ads. If you're getting someone to sign up for your newsletter, the easier you could convert them after they sign up for that newsletter, the better your ads are going to do. going off that, go beyond Ads Manager. So look at the flows, the SMS and email flows that you're using for people to convert them. Look at your profile optimization. Think of the conversion journey in terms of the consumer you're going after. So if they're looking to buy from you potentially, where might they be going? Would they be going to your Instagram profile to check out your social proof or things on there? Are they going around your website? Are they looking at reviews online? Or are they maybe signing up for an email list first? Are they getting texts? Are you setting up a call with them first before really pitching them on your product? What is the buy journey and what is the journey? Where might they be going? What might they be looking at? And try to get ahead of all these things if it's something like them searching online for reviews, stuff like that. But just be aware of what they might be doing before they're purchasing your product. And then also, last thing is timing of your offers. So depending on the product or service that you have, time your offers around seasonal opportunities or holidays, but seasonally when they might be most inclined to purchase. If you're selling a lawnmower, when the grass is growing, might be the best time when it's hotter out to be pushing your offer for your lawnmower. If you're selling an umbrella, when it's raining, might be the best time to be selling your umbrella. Or when it's forecasted to rain, might be the best time for selling your umbrella. Swim trunks in the summer, when it's at the peak of heat, might be the best time to have an offer for your swim trunks. You want to catch people in the moment or when they're anticipating that moment and make them more likely to buy, give them an offer, and figure out their life cycle from there. And also figure out the key periods for your brand that are the highest ROI times and make offers around this. Make sure to ramp up your ads around this. Take advantage of your best times for your business. And last, creative formats. Have multiple formats within each campaign. So what this means is testing a variation of static, videos using UGC, influencers, gifts, carousels, collection ads, catalog ads, either dynamic or product sets, or flexible format, which is a new format on Meta. But testing out multiple creative formats. There's a lot of research that Meta has done that campaigns that leverage multiple creative formats are more successful, or more likely to be successful at the very least. So it just goes into just logically thinking the more variations that a campaign has or that someone might see of your product or offer or service, the more likely they're going to be to buy because they have more opportunities to get educated in different formats on their app or wherever they are. So leverage a lot of these, and it's also educating your consumer too in different settings and just giving them opportunities to see your products in different light at multiple times before they ultimately end up buying. So next is test promo codes, overlays, and other creative add-ons that make sense. So Meta is coming out with a bunch of different features as add-ons to your ad that could help accelerate that buy process. So whether it's requiring someone to sign up for an email or verify their text messages, for verify their phone number for leads, promo codes that show up on your ad, variable CTAs, overlays on the ad that match your product page, any of these, start looking to test into some and figure out how they work for your business. But all of these are probably good things to test. Other things that add social proof, things that add urgency to your creative, more than just like a product image. If you have just like a catalog ad running, try to get creative and utilize some of these other creative add-ons. And those are the top 5 Facebook ads, tips, strategies, and secrets that are crushing it in 2025 and that you can use to leverage for your business to succeed. If that was helpful, drop a like, a subscribe for more weekly tips, and hit the description below to schedule a call if you're a business looking to dominate their Facebook ads. Done for you.